This is the Turkish Airlines Euroleague, round 30 of the regular season. Partizan Matsabet Belgrade hosting Anadolu Efes Istanbul. Historically, a slight edge for Efes, having won 9 of the 17 games these teams have played this century. Important that they had a 9-point victory when they met a little earlier this season, so they'll be looking to defend that. These teams tied in the standings, and this has been a crazy week. Huge victory for Crvena Zvezda, taking down Olympiacos on the road, as was Monaco's victory over Fenerbahce. Bayern Munich's defeat, that could hurt their chances as they slip ever closer to dropping out of the top 6. 3 games on the slate tonight. We are the nightcap, and this is arguably the biggest game of them all. The standings as they are, that's including games that were played last night, has Partizan and Efes outside of the top 10. But victory for either would boost them up as high as 8th in the standings. And the loser could slide down. You see these teams up and down this season. Efes, highly rated at the start of the season, had a couple of coaching changes along the way. Now they are knocking on the door, getting back into the top 10 when ultimately everybody wants to be. But it is so tight at the top of the standings. Win the remaining 5 games, including tonight, and you could finish in the top 6. That is the pressure that is mounted for these games. Look at the lineups first, that of the visitors. And Efes have one of those rarest of animals in the Turkish Airlines Euroleague, a full-strength roster. Every player is available tonight. One of the strongest groups of guards in the Euroleague, and they are powered by that backcourt. When we look at the key players for Efes, and while we talk about the backcourt, it's going to be the big man that has his hands full tonight. Vincent Poirier has become oh so consistent this season in the middle for Efes. Averaging just under 10 points a game, but he's so consistent in what he does, and his rim protection, as we know, is outstanding. The other man we've highlighted at the start of this game is Elijah Bryant, leading scorer on this Efes team. And he's stepped up huge in clutch moments for the squad. And they'll be looking for him to do that again against a Partizan team that they know will be inspired by their home fans. As we look at the roster, a welcome return. Ife Lundberg played domestically at the weekend, so it'll be interesting to see how much he can compete. The number 1 of Partizan. And they will be, this group will be stinging to try and to overcome a mid-range performance, best way to say, when they lost to Barcelona last time out. We look at their key players. And for this, we start about the bigs. If we talk about Poirier, Tyreek Jones is one of those players that had a disappointing game overall against Barcelona. To see that, shoots 63% on 2-point shots. And he shot just 3 of 11 in that defeat to Barcelona. Brandon Davies has been a model of consistency, 51% from 2 and 3. His free throw shooting is off this season. That's probably just down to lack of attempts. When he was shooting huge volumes when he played earlier in his season career at Milan, and also especially at Zalgiris, his free throw shooting was much better than what it is now. For the head-to-head, we go back to the backcourt. It's the point guards. Shane Larkin, we know he is the man that can. And opposite him is Carlik Jones, the man who does, well, everything. I'm certain, I haven't looked at the bench, he fills the water bottles as well. He puts up points, he rebounds, he assists, and he plays defense. That matchup between those two will be crucial to the outcome of this one. Well, we look at the overall comparisons we mentioned already. Efes have had a couple of coaching changes this year. Luka Banki has been in place for 11 games. Both these teams are aggressive at rim protection. Shot blockers galore out there. Between them, they average over 6 blocks a game. So we'll see if either team goes to the 3-point game to get the easier looks. Coach Banky, of course, started the season head coach of Virtus Bologna. Zelko Obradovic, well, he goes without saying, nobody can ever dispute, well, somebody needs to win 9 championships as the head coach before they can dispute whether or not he is the greatest coach of all time. Well, the Grabari, the Gravediggers, fans of Partizan in full voice, as some of the legends there. Goran Savic, a Serbian great, courtside. The expectation, Partizan went through a complete rebuild in the off-season. Seems like a lifetime ago. Now there's no excuses for new players, new faces. Just a matter of getting the job done. Well, as the Euroleague anthem plays out, I feel devotion. Teams will go to the benches. We'll have our initial introductions, which means soon it will be game on. Just 3 games up tonight, 5 last night, and then there was a game earlier on Tuesday evening, Paris, getting back to winning ways, taking down Milan. Every game has something riding on it. And as we see the introductions for Efes, they've won 3 in a row. You have to believe if they win, keep winning, take care of their last 5 games, including this one, they'd be almost certain of getting not just in the playoffs, but probably in the top 6. The only thing to note is 3 of their next 4 games are against teams that are below them in the standings. So all they'll be doing is boosting their win record, but they won't be impacting the teams above them. This is why this game has so much riding on it. And then also they play against Crvena Zvezda, another team above them. So the Serbian teams, the Belgrade teams, could determine the destiny of this Anadolu Efes Istanbul squad. Partizan, however, their games are all against teams that they are competing with, including that season ender at home to Real Madrid. Surely that's going to have a bunch riding on it. Playing well in defeat, but they'll have frustration. The Barcelona game, Coach Obradovic made it clear to his players. He had individual meetings with them after the game. It was their composure that they lost. He said they stopped playing basketball in the first half. Ended up with 2 players with 4 fouls in the first period. Sterling Brown and Dwayne Washington lost their composure and therefore couldn't have a major impact on the game. Sterling Brown, however, ends up with 16 points. How important was he? For only 3 points after he picked up his 4th foul. This introduction's complete. Eventually, we'll have exchange of handshakes, any mementos the players might have for each other. As always, the Belgrade arena packed to the rafters for Partizan. A lot riding on this game. A welcome return for PJ Dozier, of course, who spent all of last season with, or most of last season with Partizan. And as he said, he's thrilled to be returning to a club where he said he felt he was welcomed. Also said it's almost like he'd never been welcomed in that way before by a group of fans into the challenging times. Joined Efes just 8 games ago, and the niceties complete. Now we get down to the business of trying to beat you. All it needs is to talk about our starting fives. Something that Coach Obradovic has been prone to shake up. No player has started every game this season for Partizan Belgrade. Meanwhile, for Efes, only Darius Thompson has started every game. Interesting to start looking at the court time that these players, the teams have. Efes have 6 players who play 20 minutes or more, but they have 12 players who average more than 10 minutes a game. Partizan don't necessarily go as deep, but they do rely on 7 players in particular. That's 7 players who average over 20 minutes a game. So it's a hard core of players that Coach Obradovic relies on, even though he doesn't always start the same group. When you look at the starting fives for Efes, Darius Thompson continues to be the only player who started every game for them this season. Merchant Osmani started most games he's played, 25 or 29. Then you've got Elijah Bryant in the starting in the backcourt. Rodrigue Beaubois, just his 8th start, and Vincent Poirier, the man in the middle. For Partizan, a return to action for Isaac Bonga. He's been out for a few games with injury. Tyreek Jones starts in the front court. Normally comes off the bench, Tyreek Jones. So again, the magician, the wizard, that is, Coach Obradovic shakes his lineup. Gives it a different look, a more athletic lineup potentially. Start to step out on the floor as the fans share their passion for the club that they love, a club that came into establishment in 1945 for those who are keeping count, 70 years old. Partizan have won the Euroleague just one time in their history. Strangely enough, was Coach Obradovic's first year as a head coach in the Euroleague in 1991. And they would dearly love to get back to the ultimate stage. Got close to the Final Four a couple of years ago. A controversial out in 5 games against Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. But right now, so even though they're out rebounding the opposition, they are not playing well at all. As Coach Obradovic says, he wants to see some interest from his team. Then that will be a reaction. What about Efes? Well, they are seemingly in complete control. 24 points in the first period, 30 points in the second. And meanwhile, their defensive numbers are going in the opposite direction. You can see 18 in the first, 15 in the second. If that story keeps going, they'll be getting at the record books to find out. It's going to be some kind of historical night for Efes. Coach Banky has had them playing arguably the best basketball in the Euroleague since we came back from the break at the end of February. We talk about Larkin's performance, good enough to be the BKT best performance of the second period. Well, let's get some comments from Luka Banky, the head coach of Efes.
Coach, you played very aggressive in the first half. Can you continue like that in second one?
We hope so.
What do you expect in second half?
Of course, they will respond. They will try to go with their usual aggressiveness, and we have to be very smart now to handle the game properly.
Yeah, well, if he can shoot anything like those percentages in the second half, he hasn't got anything to worry about. And remember, I was talking about the shot chart of Partizan. It was sprayed all over the place. Look at that from Efes. They've got 4 spots on the floor. Dead front, 45 degrees on both sides and underneath the basket. That is a perfect shot zone. That's because the baskets are coming from the offense. So indeed, we will very quickly see the reaction of Partizan, and it's going to have to be on defense. 54 points. If they want to get back into this, they need to turn that 54 in the second half, needs to be down in the 30s. And if they get their defense going, the offense will take care of itself. You better believe they're an all-time legend, Zoran Savic, 3-time Euroleague champion. Twice with Split, and once with Bologna. In his career at Barcelona, I think he ended up as general manager of Barcelona, Zoran Savic.